Welcome to Season 2 of the Huddle podcast. Join Jess, Cam, Brenna, Ashley, and me, Sherri, as your hosts. Thanks so much for joining us.
That was very dead.
Sounded like my soul.
It sounded like you had never met us before.
Oh my gosh.
I'm using it. Hi. Hello.
Hello.
Hi there.
Sherri. Hi, B.
Hi.
It's just the three of us tonight, but I'm so excited to be hanging out with the two of y'all. It's like we went to coffee or something.
Mm-hmm.
How are
She
y'all?
basically,
Jess,
Jess basically cried heavy tears that Ash and Cam weren't here and was like, do I have to record with Brenda and Sherri?
Yeah.
And we were like, yeah.
I bitched out a little bit.
Yeah. So that might
I'm
be a
better
lie,
now.
but
I'm better
the
now.
devil
But
feels
thanks,
good whispering that.
right? Thanks, B, for outing me on that.
Mm.
No, we did have all five of us. And then today something came up with Ash this morning early. And then as we were waiting for Cambria to enter the chat room, we had to call her and wake her up. She is not feeling good at all. Because I was like, oh gosh, she is never 6 minutes late. Something is wrong. So
Mm-hmm.
she has her third surgery in just a few days. I was looking at what day it is today. And so so it's on the 21st. So it's in 2 days. And so she's a little nervous about being sick and going into this next surgery. So
She
she's
needs
not
all
with
the
us.
rest she can get.
She does. She's really good at drinking water and everything. I'm horrific. I can go days without drinking water.
What?
I can. It is a skill that, you guys can
Well,
wish you had. But
I think that's a lie. You do drink water. What is it? Isn't yours Diet Coke?
yeah, Diet Coke.
Yeah, like when you get it on ice, like that's water.
Right. And y'all know Kennedy Haney, she's the legendary DAY dietitian. And she said that we need to drink, 10 glasses of water a day. And if we have a coffee or a caffeine drink, just, add that back into your life. Show off. Sherri's showing her water. But anyways, and I think that is because those coffee and caffeine, those are so good for you. And so the way you celebrate them being good for you is you just go ahead and add more water back in.
I like it.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
ask
that
ask
sounds-
Kennedy if that was accurate. She said yes.
I'm good.
Fully accurate.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. So I could stand to drink some more water, but so Cambria needing to rest and flush. She's got the
Mhm.
flush down pat. She just needs to sleep.
Yeah, we can let her sleep this one time.
For sure. So how are you guys doing? How are you doing, Sherri?
I'm doing good. Can you hear banging?
No.
Okay, good. The one time I tell my family that you're on your own for supper is the one time that all of a sudden everyone forgets how to cook anything ever.
Nope. It's
They're
probably,
down there tenderizing pork.
yeah, it's
Something
much
is-
louder to you than us for sure.
Something is, I'm assuming Andrew is barbecuing something. And then I can hear Emma's gone. So Andrew and Leah are, if you ever like watch those like sketch comedy, like SNL, like Saturday Night
Yes.
Live,
Yeah.
none of that holds a candle to Andrew and Leah talking to each other. It is comedy gold because she is like pure hellfire and emotion, and he is so
Right.
ultra logic that it's hilarious. It's oil and water, and
Yeah, like aliens.
yeah, it
That
is
is
very
so
much so.
funny.
Mhm.
Was it normal for you at their age to cook, or did your parents do all the cooking?
Yeah. Oh, don't ever ask me about my childhood. Every time every time someone asks me a question like something, I always have this like horribly, horrifically traumatizing, dramatic thing to say.
Let's hear
Well,
it. Why
I was
hold
alone.
back? This is
I
a
was
safe
alone.
space.
I was alone for most of my childhood, and no. What's Leah? 14? Yeah, at 14, I was My sister had probably, she would have graduated. She was out of the house. My sister and I are almost 6 years apart. And it was just my dad and I, and he would work, and then I would make supper. And I would come home from school and I would try to figure out what to make for supper.
Right.
And it was often, and I hated cooking. Like I hated it, and I still hate it. Mm-hmm. And and so it was, yes, I was definitely cooking, but it was mostly things like spaghetti meat sauce and French toast and mac and cheese.
I'm really good at those recipes too. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It seems like our kids cook a lot. Did you cook when you were their age in high school and middle school? Did you?
Yeah, because when my parents got divorced, I lived with my dad.
Uh-huh.
And so my brothers would come over to his house after school. And so I was just their little mom, and I would do the cooking. And until my dad got married, and then she cooked a lot, and she's a good cook. So yeah.
Sherri, you made me
and then she moved in and moved. Oh, sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I think there's a lag. I'm sorry.
She moved in and then moved my bowls in, she moved the cupboards around, and I was 15 and whoa, ho, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
I never knew I would have a territorial war at 15 in the kitchen,
right.
But it was her kitchen. She deserved every bit of that space. So that's a fun memory. I love you, Jeanette. Okay. She doesn't, I'm sure she doesn't listen to this. And I've talked to her about this before. So
it is interesting. I mean, stepmamas do need to realize you probably shouldn't come on in and move the bowls.
Right.
Let's wade in. Let's wade in.
I swear, Brenna, you and I, whenever you talk about your childhood and how you met your husband, and then
subsequently,
yes, the things that happened after that, we are the same person. We are, except my dad didn't get remarried.
And you have amazing red hair, and I'm stuck with I'm not that was really sad, Brenna. Gosh.
But you did get that beautiful, we were all envying your hair color, and you were fussing about it because it was different. Did you ever get used to it, or did you change it?
Yeah, but now I feel like I just need something. I like how dark it is.
You do?
Actually. But I need something to brighten me up. I'm feeling blah. I just need something. So that'll be in a couple weeks.
Maybe you just put some bright pieces around your face.
Yeah.
I know it's hard to go dark because you're just used to seeing something in the mirror.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I feel like I've had my natural color for so long now. It just, I feel also blah, especially springtime rolls around and you want to try something fun and new. And my hairdresser keeps telling me that my hair color is something people only aspire to get. So
right. It is sad having that. I was just going to say, so sad having that amazing color.
No, we kind of
it's boring. Okay.
Yes, we kind of targeted Brenna last week, so it is Sherri's turn. But I wish you guys could see her. It's just almost comical. She's in this natural light with these big fluffy eyelashes and these bangs that you could take a nap in. I mean, she's the most beautiful thing. Oh my gosh. It's almost unnatural. I just took a picture.
Yeah, put those fingers away.
It's just unreal. It's unreal. You did make me feel really calm a minute ago when you said you hated cooking, because I always feel really guilty about, sometimes I feel, we talked about that today, feeling guilty, but I feel often guilty that I'm not in love with making this house a home and making it smell like food each night and have it waiting for Jay and the kids as they get home. That's just not, I'm 41. We've been married for 5 years. I still hear his truck in the driveway and go, oh shit. I don't have anything, nothing. I'm running to the beef freezer or something, or telling him I'm going to go run, get something, or he runs and grabs stuff a lot. So it's not one of my favorite things, but I equate it to we all feel a lot of us feel guilty about not being cooks, but I equate it to shaking Jay's shoulders and being why don't you love to play baseball on the weekend? I mean, it's just not an interest of mine. It's not, those aren't interests of his. And the moment we continue to start demanding things of each other that put us out of who we want to be, it's just so unnatural, and changes a space into something very unnatural. And I just don't want to participate in the pretending anymore.
Oh, I like that.
Jess with the facts. Wow.
I've had to think on this one a bunch because my grandmother was a huge cook, and Jay's mama is a wonderful cook, and my mom just isn't. And so she didn't really teach us how to cook. And I haven't, my girls are growing up right before my face, and I've realized I haven't taught them because I don't know how. And that's an easy way for Satan to get to you and let you know that you're pretty worthless, and you have to fight that with truth. And that's just not the truth.
Nope.
But the reason I was asking you guys about, what was different in you guys cooking at that age versus our kids wanting to cook at this young age, that brings us into one of our first discussion questions we had tonight was, what are ways that you're planning, or Sherri, yours are older and mine are older. What are ways that you are parenting different with a different set of values than the way you were raised, with the set of values that you were raised? What are some of them that you could share with us that are just different?
I was actually kind of excited about this one just because, I'm not going to say that I'm a perfect mom, but if perfection is here, I'm just below. Like, I am almost perfect. The biggest thing I would say is, like, think for yourself. Teaching them to think for themselves, question everything, and then dig for the truth.
Right.
And I feel like I have done that so well that I have two Wall Street, New York lawyers that will tell me why and how and all the facts of why they should be allowed to do this. So I've kind of actually shot myself in the foot, because they are where I was raised to not question authority. And especially in the ultra conservative Mennonite church that I was raised in, where it's you don't question, you don't it's just you listen to your pastor and you this. And then for me, I learned that I like to dig in the Bible and see what Jesus says. What does God say about this? And then just as we've all watched the world change around us. I would say that's probably the biggest one, where they will not take any, no matter what form of authority it is. They'll listen, they'll discern. You can almost see the gears turning in their head, and then they will then search for, is this reliable? Is this true? Not just spiritually, not just going to the Bible and say, what does the Bible say about this? But even politicians and doctors and whatever the teachers, is this accurate and true? And then they do their own research and do their own hunting.
Right. That's incredible, Sherri.
I admire the heck out of those girls. How they, that's very, very different from how I was raised, where
and it's the flexing of the muscles. It's a practice, and you're continually teaching them how to flex those muscles, which in turn flows into every other part of their life, and in a neat little part flows back at you. And you're raising little inspirations, because we joke that every 5 minutes we need to be told, you're not mad at us, we're not doing anything wrong. Like something we learned last year or yesterday, we're not going to know today. And so to have two little ones walking around reminding us every day, this is what a badass looks like. And I just think that's really, it's just such a neat relationship.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of them. No lie.
Us too, as their aunties, we're very proud.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brenna, are you ready to go next?
I don't really know. I think, like Sherri said about being perfect, I can relate to that. I don't know if I would do anything different. I have all the good values instilled. I'm just kidding. That's one thing. I don't really know what I would do different. because I'm just struggling getting to know myself now. Like
Sure.
looking back at my parents raising me and my siblings, like they were growing up too in that moment.
Yeah.
And so I've learned to just give them tons of grace. But I honestly can't look back at something and be like, I wish I would have been raised different. And if there is something, I'm not applying that, like cleaning. I wasn't taught the ins and outs of cleaning and making a, like that. Oh, what's the word? Discipline.
Oh yeah.
Discipline.
Oh yeah. That's a good word.
I wasn't raised on discipline. We were a lot more laid back.
Yeah.
And so like that is something that I would like to implement in with my kids. But to be honest, like I'm not. Because I don't know how to implement something I'm not good at. And then I don't want to do it and then fail. Like it's a whole thing. And so I should have just said pass.
No, I love it too, especially B, if you're allowing the boys in on any of that information, which I know you are. Because our parents, just that generation, they were taught to be perfect. Don't let us see weakness or we'll infiltrate the system. And so they were taught that they had to portray this perfect image to us. And so our generation compared our lives and our inner workings of our secret minds to perfection and found us very unclean. And it's a comparison, a really dangerous comparison game. And so to be open with the boys, like Mom would love for things to be this way, but I'm just not really sure how to teach all this. So let's just all learn it together. I think that kind of grace is huge for them.
Yeah. One thing I did crave as a child was seeing my parents show affection to each other. I had a friend that their parents they would hug and they would kiss and they would say, I love you, so that everyone could hear. And my parents were going through some heavy stuff. So I can't say that I would have done anything different, through their divorce and all of that. So I'm not putting that on them, but I do try and show that to my boys with Jake, that like affection is good. Show the people you love them. That,
Right. I
that
like
kind of
that.
thing.
I like that a lot. Well, I have two, and I don't even know which one to start with. I guess I'll say the second one first, because I've already kind of touched on it. And it's just that our parents also taught us as young parents not to apologize to our kids, because then they would think that they were in charge. And so that is something that Lily is a little messed up for. She seems awesome, but she has to be having a young mom that didn't know better and a young dad that didn't know better. But either way, Jay and I were talking about this the other day, and he said, I see you being so honest with them about your faults and where you lack. And he said, we just never had that with our parents. And I can't imagine that being anything but so healthy for them. And so it was really nice for him to speak that over my head. So I tell my kids everything, that I don't have any secrets really with them. I don't make a huge, I am your parents and you are the kids. I did say that to Cash yesterday because he was talking back and it felt very odd. But at the same time, I really do try to just remember we're all human. And as long as they're, doing the things that they need to do to have a gentleness and a kindness and a goodness instead of I am mom. What I say is right.
Yes.
And on the second one, I was raised in the purity culture. And so I have 3 daughters and 2 sons. And this is all I will say, but not really, because I'll say it like but I really have a sticky note on my desktop that says, stop talking. This is all I will say. I think it is a conundrum to make a child feel like sex is very dirty and very faux pas and very dangerous and a bad word and something not good at all. And then Okay. So you're 18 and this is dangerous, very dangerous. Stay away, hot plate, hot plate. Now you are 19. Now I want you to very much satisfy your partner. And I want you to do it good. Like I just don't understand how it's just such a quick transition. And it was a quick transition in my life. Like the conversation, well, I didn't have any conversations. My sex talk was, we don't believe in premarital sex, right? We were watching Oprah. I think I was 11. And it was, we don't believe in premarital sex. And I said, I know, like, let's not talk about it. And we went through the whole purity culture with our church. My dad and I exchanged rings in front of hundreds of people. I think I've said that on here before. And I just think it is a very odd thing that you are supposed to go from thinking sex is horrific to now overnight. I need you to be very mentally and emotionally healthy with it so that you can be so healthy with it that you and your partner don't struggle any moments. You just jump right into a healthy, sexual free relationship so that you guys can have a good marriage. I think that is the definition of ignorance.
Perfect word.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So
Lily, I'm with this 100%.
Lily will be 17 Lily and my son will be 17 in the fall. And so it's a conversation that I've already gotten to have with her. And it was just look, this is what we thought was right. And so this is what we did, because she knows her mom and dad were virgins on their wedding night. And so that's an odd conversation to have. Like, let's just take a little step back and let's not because you think mom wants this or because dad wants this or because God wants this, but what do you believe for your life? And so at least I've gotten to have 1,000 more words with her than I ever got, from my parents.
And also to have those goals, I think is a great goal because there's lots of greatness behind it. Sure. But when you're not, because that's how it was for me, wedding night, and then you get married and then all of a sudden it's okay. There's no hellfire and damnation. There's no, I'm supposed to be comfortable with my body now and I'm supposed to I think you can have both scenarios where it's healthy and this is why you would, if you want to decide to wait, this is why, and here's the pros. And sex is amazing. It's just, there's a time and a place and it's not.
Those things can be true at the same time.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. I like that, B, a lot. I like that.
Well, and sorry, Brenna, not to pick on you because you have boys, but like I only have girls. I was also raised incredibly like wrong. Like all my dad said is don't ever let someone touch you because everything is wrong. And bless his heart, he's obviously come a long way. He probably was terrified.
Sure.
But like it's the extremes, right? To find that middle ground. And I'm not going to speak on like my opinion on modesty, just because I know I am a bit of an island when it comes to biblical modesty. But I have two incredibly stunningly beautiful girls that I often have seen as they got older and they got more and more beautiful and they started looking like grown women with their bodies and stuff, how the world started treating them differently. And it's I'm going to be very careful with what I say. And you guys are always allowed to disagree with me because I know that I have strong opinions about many things that's absolutely okay if it's just my opinion. But to openly talk about sex with them, that it's a gift that has to be that when you're married, that it's something you keep unwrapping. It is not going to be fully unwrapped and awesome that wedding night. It's probably going to suck. And that to talk about it with your boyfriend, with your fiance is healthy, that you both know what your boundaries are. And I talk so openly with my girls about sex that they say that I've kind of ruined it for them. So maybe I've gone on the other end of like talking about it too much.
I like that.
I want them, yes, the whole, like, God gave you that body. God gave you the boobs and the ass and everything. He gave that to you. You should never be ashamed of them. I think modesty is a matter of opinion. I think that if we saw what women looked like in the Bible historically, we would be shocked. What our culture says is modest is not what another culture says is modest.
Sure.
So it's this weird, like, middle ground of, it's where your heart's at, right?
Yeah.
It all comes with where is your heart at. And
Right.
Emma has had a boyfriend now for over 2 years, and to openly see them, like, how they interact with each other, the respect both ways, it just makes my mama heart sing. Like,
Right.
it just, that there's, will they wait for marriage? I know they both want to, and I have high hopes, but I also have told Emma, we are all humans. We
Right.
all sometimes give in to temptation. It is wrong. The Bible says sex before marriage is wrong. It is a gift that you need to open after marriage. Do Christians have sex before marriage? Yes. Does that make us better than them? No. And like this, yeah, I'm sorry. I could go on and on.
No, it's okay. I think it goes back to what we were talking a minute ago about, wanting me to be a cook and I'm not a cook, and that constant me not feeling like I'm enough because I'm supposed to be the cook of our home because I have a what. And so then I see it here too while we're talking about this is, we were taught all growing up to not be sexual, but God created us very sexual. And so it was like there were 5, 6, 7 years in there where we were fighting against ourselves, against our minds, what was flooding our minds. We were being told that this is very wrong. And so something must be very wrong with us if this is all that I think about. And so I just don't want to get into that same situation where we are ignoring the way that the Lord has created us, and that we can communicate about it, and it's not dirty and unspoken and in the dark.
And that everyone has a different level of, like, what is pure to one person won't be pure to the next person, and that's okay. Like, God, I feel like God puts different discernments and wisdom in us to say, this goes against my moral compass and this doesn't. And to respect, obviously biblically, like, I don't want to get the wrong idea here, but like, just to respect like everyone's respect.
Right. Be anything?
No, like, I think you said it really well, Sherri. And as a boy mom, like, I hope that, I do believe, God makes us, he gave us the gift of being sexual. Like, it is a gift, like, it's on purpose. I want them to respect women while honoring their manhood. Like, not feel ashamed by seeing a girl and being turned on, because you can't help that. But what you do with it after, like, what and how you treat that person. Is that shoulder sexual because she has a tank top on and it's not considered quote unquote modest? Whose fault? Like, that's not my that's not the girl's responsibility to control the man's feelings.
Sure.
So I'm like,
I was hoping she wasn't going the other direction. I was like, oh, hell.
I know. Like, one of the, I don't know if I should even talk about this.
Yes.
But like, for like in our church, when the girls go to girls camp, or they're going with a mutual party, right? Say they go swimming, the girls have to wear a tankini and shorts. And I think there's been one instance that I've heard that they have to wear a t-shirt. And that makes my mind blow. Because
here we go.
Why? And then, like, why are we, I'm not saying, and I think modesty is an attitude as well. You could be modest and you could be fully covered. And if you walk in there and you're swinging those hips and you're, sticking out your tatas to my husband, that's not modest. So modesty is an attitude, and you're, So I have some beef. I have some beef with that. So I want to raise my boys that when they go, they're 15 and they're going to the pool and they see other girls there. Cool. Look, it's a body. I like that, but I'm not going to demean her.
Right.
I'm not going to, I remember going swimming and someone called me big ones, Brenna or Brenna big ones. And I had big bosoms in like 6th grade. And so that has stuck with me. I just want to raise my boys. We all have these thoughts. We all have these things. Women are just as guilty of looking at a man and being like, oh, I wonder what's happening there.
Yep.
But it's when I act on it. And so I just hope I can raise respectful boys who will respect their counterparts.
Right.
I loved every single word you said.
Me too.
Every single word. It's tough. And I want to hear you talk like 1,000 hours about this. I never want to get into this mentality of I'm raising girls. And so then why bother even trying to imagine the son's point of view? And I always want to imagine the son's point of view. I never want to you know what I mean? Close-minded.
Oh yeah.
And that's why I love.
Right. No, I didn't think that when you said that about being, but because I've heard too, this might be inappropriate.
I want to hear it.
But how they're like, I only have one. Well, let's call it a wiener. Boy moms have one to worry about, where girl moms have hundreds and thousands to worry about. So if I can teach my son how to.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
That is so
I
funny.
only have one that I have to keep an eye on.
Right.
I hope that sounded pedophile.
Oh, no. I know. I think everybody is going to know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yep.
But see, so ours are 28 days apart. And in this home, one is being raised by her mama and another is being raised by his dad, with curfews and driving and allowing to go out here and how much he knows about where he is, like that kind of stuff. So it's all happening in real time at the same time. I think it's healthy for me because I was raised so prude and was so prude until very recent in my parenting. When any of this stuff started showing its face, I kind of freaked out. I mean, if we were having this conversation 6 months ago, you guys would need to be like, just stop recording. Like, we need to talk about some things, because I was very, very unhealthy with it. I hadn't faced reality yet. I was still very much living in the agreements that I had made as a kid, and I hadn't challenged any of those agreements yet. And so Jay, I feel like, was sent to help me figure out what I truly believe, and then I can pass it down to my children. Mm-hmm. And that's how you break those generational curses,
Good for you.
But you too, Sherri. I love hearing you talk about how much you talk about it with the kids. And that's how I want to be with, Lily will allow that for sure. But that's how I want to be with my kids. And then Brenna, the awe I have for how wide your eyes are open towards a sex you don't even have in your house. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's incredible, because I have one sister that has 3 boys and one sister that has 3 girls. And so for you to speak as though you have both sexes in your home, that's gigantic.
Well, I basically feel like I'm 15 still. So
you basically what?
Feel like I'm 15 still.
Me too. So, I do too.
Yeah. But I just remember, and a friend had said this, because I was like, because my kids are young. Trig's 10 and Oliver's 6. And so I have a friend who, he's graduating high school. And I was like, how do you do it? Like, what do you do? What are you worrying about? And she's like, you know what? This was the best time of my life as a kid. And so, and it was being in high school and that was really fun. And so, I'm not there yet, so I can't really say, but I just want to prepare them.
But you're so ahead of the game already.
Good mom.
Yeah, I like
you're
it.
You're so ahead of the game already. Just to just to know, hearing you talk as a full boy mom gives me hope for other moms out there that are boy moms, that Yeah, it is actually like, and I'll use the Bible literally here, like if your eyes cause you to sin, gouge them out. And I have yelled that at men telling me to cover up when I'm wearing the exact same top that someone else is wearing. And just because you are sexually attracted to me, I now am the bad person. To hear you like flip that and make that completely like okay and valid, like that we take ownership for our own sexual sin. It just fills me with just joy. You're so ahead, like Brenna.
And B, you might not see it entirely, but you sound like you're very much on the verge of getting all of it. So I would just encourage you to keep going. Because what you already have is like really great.
Thanks, guys.
Well, and let your boys see you as a confident woman that appreciates her body, like that you come across. And this is like, again, I see you obviously mostly on social media, but then just the stuff that we talk, the way that you talk, you are all woman. Like you are all the things. You are helper, farmer, wife, mother, sister, and like hairdresser and homemaker. And like you're all these things. So your boys are seeing you do all these things, watching you, and you are not ashamed of who you are. And they're learning that this is how a woman is supposed to, like, they're looking at you and you are giving them a freaking superhero of a woman.
Setting the bar really high.
I love it.
I
love it.
I hope so.
Me too.
I just think there's bigger problems in this society than girls wearing leggings to the grocery store. And like, if you go home and never mind.
Well, and I just think it's
that's not on me.
I think it's just generations of being raised a certain way. Like even if you isolate that one little, they're wearing shorts at the youth group pool and they're wearing t-shirts, shorts, and a under bathing suit. I think that's just generations of that's how it was done. And nobody stopped long enough to be like, hey, is this right? Okay. Well, we got to go. I just think that it just perpetuated, and we didn't really, to have mamas in the church be like, wait a damn second. Like, this is not that is new also. And so I know it's already happening. Who had that conversation? You, Sherri, or you, Brenna? Sherri, did you about the why do they have to wear a shirt or somebody I know has had it.
That was me. Like growing up, that's how you just covered up and a lot of it was because of the priesthood leaders who were there, or the men that were there at the camp or which I can respect that. But if I have to wear a t-shirt to cover up my shoulders, I think there's bigger problems than
we had friends our own age, that had a little bit more of leadership roles in our youth group or our college ministry, tell us not to wear like spaghetti straps or tanks. And I just look back, and I the only thing that makes me laugh is I know that they're as humiliated right now thinking back on it as I was in that moment, So
like if you had said, it's like comes over time, and it's a respect thing. Like if my dad wants me to take, like growing up, we took our hats off when we walked into my grandma and grandpa's house as a sign of respect. Like I can do things out of respect and promises to God and promises that I make in my life. I mean, if as a Mormon, and my garments, like a lot of people look at that and they're like, holy crap, that would be really hard. That's a promise I make. But also we got to call let's put where it needs to be, not the blame on the girl for being too sexual. It's because,
and if only we could, maybe it's better that we can't, but like how it says God looks at the heart and man looks at the outer. And you can have two girls wearing the exact same thing or boys wearing the exact same thing, and one of them is out to get the negative attention and the other one just wants to be comfy. And it sucks because you don't know. It's your heart, right? It's where your attitude is at.
And we are good at finding who's on the up and up. I've told that in our community we have men and women, and so friends have said, I want to text or I want to be friends, but I just don't I'm a guy and you're a girl. I don't want to offend Jay, or I don't want to offend my wife. And I'm just like, we know, like we can take one look in someone's eyes and know, are they in love with their husband? Are they after my man? I mean,
Yeah.
you can just see it. You can see it in the eyes. The eyes are the window. And so I think that is, if you're walking up fully clothed with an ill intention towards my hot ass husband, I know the moment you walk in the room, it's not going to be your clothes, and so I think that's very accurate, Sherri. Well, okay, so let me go on to the next one, even though that one was a whole full podcast worth. Love it. So because we are very self-aware, the three of us. Well, I think we'll be able to answer this pretty easily, but what are things that we have figured out about ourselves, the way we are wired, the way our brains and our minds and our hearts work? What are ways that we kind of feel like that's just us? Like we don't see it a lot in our friends, the way they behave. It's just kind of something distinctive to us. Brenna, would you like to go first?
I just don't want you to feel left out, Jess, and I want you to go first.
Me?
I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I like it when you talk.
Okay. Well, thanks, because I feel like I have been over talking, so I am sorry. I'll feel bad about it later. I have zero self-awareness of how many words I use. And also, I'll keep talking until you give feedback, but y'all are active listening, and so you're not. And so I'll keep talking until you do it.
Excellent.
So I really just learned this one at Cultivating Courage. I learned that it was specific to my Enneagram, which is a 2. And I thought it was all of us. I thought we all did this. And from the stage, she said, Enneagram 2s, this is something that you specifically do and no other Enneagram does it. And it was so eye-opening and interesting to me. I nearly passed out. But we expect you to know what we need from you. And we think we are not going to say it, what we expect, because you should know. You should know. I will not be insulted to lower myself enough to tell you what I need to hear from you. And that's one of Jay's main things is, what can I do? What can I do? And I will not answer it, because the F I will. You should know what to do. And per the last hour of our discussion of our life, you should be able to pick out key points of what maybe you could use to do next. Don't you think?
How's that working out, Jess?
It's not even a little bit. And do y'all know this? This is what I want to tell you. This could be a real live conversation between Jay and I. I could be like this. Hey, if the chairs blow over in the yard, I don't need to watch you walk past them 77 times in a row thinking Jess will get them. I need you to bend over once and pick them up. That would make me feel less insulted that I'll get them. And he'll say, what can I do? And I'll go, I need you to pick up the chairs that have blown over in the yard. And he'll go, I'm on it. And so I don't know what it is. I think it is, there's just too many words in the description that he's not asking, like, I didn't hear you, so what can I do? He's saying, please summarize it. And I have to say it again, which I've never tried, but I am going to try it one time soon. But I've never tried it because it is so insulting to me, you guys. So when I tell y'all in the last episode, we broke the cycle, it was because that happened. I explained myself. He said, what can I do? And I took a deep breath and just repeated it. And then an hour and a half later, we were down this path we'd never been down. Brenna, I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, I'm just taking wild notes here.
Yeah, that's definitely, I can't relate to that. I'm so blunt. I'm so blunt.
Really?
Yeah,
So
me too.
in the same situation, what do you say? If you say all you need from him and Andrew says, "What can I do?" What's your next sentence?
I will in detail describe what I need him to
But
do.
you already did.
Then I will, if he's, so I'm just because I'm trying to put myself in your position.
Yeah.
I am just so incredibly blunt. If I'm feeling, let's just like bare basics, I'm feeling unloved or neglect or lonely or something, or
Sure.
I had a bad night or something, I will just start the day off with, I had a bad night. Here's what I need from you. I need at least 10 hugs. I need you to tell me at least 5 times that you love me or that you love something about me. Pick something. It's your choice. If he cannot pick, I will gladly offer my 10 things you can say you love about me. And then he says, well, then it means nothing because you told me to say that.
He says, what can I do?
And then he says, what can I do? And then I say, here it is again. I will say it 1,000 times. I will gladly say 1,000 times. If it means that 99.99 time I say it, it gets through to him.
Really?
Great.
That's intriguing.
I'm so blunt and I'm so stubborn. And I've lived too long in silence, I would say, with other family members and other things where so many things can't be said. I have often said, and again, as a mother and as a wife, I would say I am the bluntest person on the planet. When my girls either do something I love, because I'm blunt also in my love. So we can be in a crowd and he'll do something and I will openly in front of everyone, it can be strangers, and say, I just noticed what you did. I respect the hell out of that.
Yeah.
And I'll just say it. And it is awkward to people, but I can't.
I don't think so.
I can't stop this.
Well, that's very intriguing. Like really intriguing.
I think something, I say it. And often the thinking doesn't even happen. It'll like if I'm lucky, I'll think it first and then say it. But it goes with often like things. I can think of many relationships I have with people where if I think of them or if I think of something or anything like that, I will just say it. And even when they've said something that I misheard or potentially got the wrong intention.
Yeah.
I will tell, and I've said this to Andrew, I've said this to my girls, when something comes out of their mouth that just kind of hits a little too feel good, I'll say, this is your chance to say that again.
Yeah.
And then they say it again. And then I say, okay, what did you mean by that? Was this your intention? And then we have this nice discussion. And then I say, I hear their side, and then they hear my side. And then we have this beautiful understanding. Or we have a massive fight.
So if you have the ability that I don't have this ability, if you have the ability to just keep on having this conversation over and over and over, answering the same question over and over and over, does that mean you're not stubborn? Because I see it as stubbornness in me.
I feel like it's stubbornness in me because like hell, I'm going to quit.
Oh, you're stubborn the other way?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. We're screwed.
Yeah.
You're stubborn the other way?
Yeah. But like, think of it this way, Jess. Like, would you, like, Sherri, how you're saying, okay, this is what I say to my boys or my husband when tone is delivered, something is delivered and the tone is off.
Yeah.
Or they say something rude or I'll say, try again. Do you want to try again? Because I'm all about second chances. So if you say it once to Jay or to whoever and they don't respond, like, would you, for me, I want a second chance. Because I am like the Tin Man and I have no brain and I'm flighty as shit. So I need second chances and I need lots of them. And Jess, I would drive you nuts.
Really?
Even if you were to tell me, I would forget in 5 minutes.
That's what he says he does.
And so it's not that he's forgetting and it's a lack of love. It's that he literally forgets. Hi, welcome to my whiteboard where we put all of our reminders.
Well, and I do want to add a tiny disclaimer because I probably was a little disrespectful about it, but I have gotten to a space where he's not grasping it. Like he's not holding on to it because I'm using so many words and I'm all over the place. And, something I feel very passionately about this month is not what I felt passionately about next month in the same exact circumstance. And so I don't want to sound disrespectful to Jay. I agree with you
No.
completely. No, I really do, B. And you say like I would drive you crazy. No, you wouldn't, because if it's Lily, if it's not Jay, and I pour my heart out and you say, what can I do? I'll go, oh, sorry, I wasn't clear. This is what I mean. But with Jay, it's a whole different, he gets this special version that's not very fair. So that's
why is that, Brenna? Our theory of God going, this is going to be fun.
Yes,
here's the beta fish. This beta is fun. Fish. And my therapist, when I went and saw her last week, she was like, Brenna, your beta fish logic is funny. And it's funny, but you need the opposite to complete something. You can't have, if you want to make green, you can't have two yellows. You have to have a yellow and a blue. You have to have that opposite to make your complete, your yin, your yang. Like you have to now I'm getting off into something different. But like
I love it.
With Satan, even with Satan, like we need, even though he's a prick, right? And that's also another word I grew up with that wasn't a swear word, and Jake thinks that's a swear word. So if someone's listening and that's a swear word, I'm really sorry. But she had just said that I'm still wrapping my head around all this. Like I'm still wrapping my head around it, but that we need Satan to really stand in our truth, to stand in our light. Like without, the war in heaven was not fought with swords and with guns. It was fought with standing up for yourself, knowing your true worth, knowing your standing up and saying, nope, that's false. So we need, just like we need opposition in all things. So we need that. We need our opposites. We need our egos. I don't understand it either, but
yeah. So what you're saying is our husbands are the devil.
Yeah.
Or it's like in The Incredibles where there's not a villain and the whole story goes awry.
Yeah. In my husband's story, I'm definitely the villain. So it just, depends on who.
Yeah, depends on who you're talking to. And that's what I told these girls this week, how they've kind of screwed up my life, because their relationships with them are so healthy and so encouraging and cup filling and strong that when I go to my other relationships, I tend to compare, and that doesn't bode well for other people.
I fully agree. I fully agree with that, Jess. It sure shone a light on, and I tell my girls this all the time when they struggle with girlfriend relationships and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I tell them, like, I'm 37. I only now, when I say true love, I mean it like friendship. Like I said, I have found true love in my friends, in these ladies. It is not a myth. They are out there. And to encourage my girls to keep, like, don't settle. You shouldn't be around people that don't make you feel good.
Yeah.
And that it sucks that we have ruined each other.
Well, we have, and we've gotten to this point in life where, you find your husband and you court and you date, and then you make a plan to live your life together. But then when you find your soulmates, then your mind is like, well, what house are we going to all live in together? And you have to be like, no, that's not what's happening this time. And you're like, why not though? Like, it's weird. But I'm sorry I hijacked that whole entire question.
Oh, I thought that was like me saying how blunt I was.
Like, okay. Like you being the opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I stand in a circle and I look at people talking and I say exactly what I'm thinking, and then everyone kind of slowly backs away.
And the ones you love are left standing.
You're still here. So
thank you.
I find myself being more and more blunt, and it's refreshing to be around blunt people because you know where they stand. You don't have to, if I make you mad and you're like, Brenna, I don't like it when you do that. And then you can get over it, and we're, no grudges. Just, I'm sick of the passive aggressiveness and the fake. Just let it out for me. I just,
Yeah. Did we say that?
I said,
sorry, baby. We say that last episode where it was that video, and she said, I'd rather paint my house with a Q-tip than wonder why you're mad at me.
No. Funny though. I can relate to that.
I did hear a really neat statistic this week on a podcast that said women's happiness peaks. Where do you think, Sherri? What age?
50.
Where do you think, Brenna?
I don't know. Like 50s, 40s, 50s.
75.
Shit.
75.
Oh,
isn't that nice?
That's a long time.
It just made me happy for my mom.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Because my mom's not 75 yet, and she just loves the hell out of her life. Like, she loves it.
Actually, yeah. My first reaction was, what the hell? And then my second reaction was,
mine too.
Okay.
Mine too.
Okay, actually, that's nice, because that just means it's only going uphill.
Right? It's kind of
it's not over. It's not in your past.
Yeah. And like you said, Brenna, like, you feel like you're 15. Like, I bring my kids places and I'm like, I bet you they're all wondering how I'm their mom. Like, I just feel so, but no one asks me that. No one asks me, how could you be their mom? And anyways, I just feel so young. Like, I tops, I feel 30. Tops would be my top number.
And every single lady is going to hate me when I say this. I hate it. Like, I hate it when I get asked, like, is this your daughter or is this your sister?
You got this week.
And like, sometimes it is just genuine people that are like, and I get it. I had Emma when I was friggin' 19. So yeah, there's not a lot of, we have 20 years between us, and I wear sunscreen and a hat all the time. So like, but like my birth mom, she loved it. Like, she was, if you looked up cougar in a dictionary.
Oh dear.
So like, he loved it. And she was a beautiful woman. Like, she did not look her age. She looked so young. But she loved it in a super inappropriate way.
Sure.
Like, like Mean Girls, like, I'm not a regular mom.
I'm a cool mom.
And so like, whenever like someone makes a comment like that to me, I just have this like voice in my head that goes, you're just like your mother. And and then I go, I am their mom. I am lame. And I am so embarrassing.
Right.
So I
am really comfortable in this knit cardigan.
And so in being so comfortable with myself and my lameness as a mom, I've kind of pseudo become this like version of a cool mom in a way. Like, I love pop culture, and I love TikTok, and I love all the funny things that teenagers are doing nowadays. I think it's awesome. And that, so, but I so yeah, I
love it. Yep, I know what you mean. It reminds me of the whole
cool mom, sorry.
It reminds me of the whole you don't hear things the way they are, you hear things the way you are. And so somebody's just trying to compliment you and tell you you're beautiful and you look young, and your mind goes right back to your mom and those memories, and you're like ready to punch someone, and they're like, what did I say? So, but anyway, so
say that again, what you just said.
That you don't hear things the way they are, you hear things the way you are.
Writing that down.
And so you don't realize that there's a lot of times someone speaking is trying to fulfill something they're insecure about, and then the person hearing is now insecure, and there's just so many things going on in conversation. That's why we say drop the rope. Just drop the rope, surrender, freedom, lower your expectations. So, but anyways, I had a third question, but I think we've been recording long enough if you guys would want to wrap it up. And does anybody else have any thoughts to kind of close us out? Thank y'all for doing this with me. I do have some baby information. Would you like it? I don't know if, I should cut it out of the episode or leave it in the episode.
Let's hear it.
Yeah.
So we went to the baby doctor right after we lost the baby, and he said, just why are you here? Kind of like downplaying it. He's really funny and nice, and we said, well, do we need your help? And he said it's not good for the doctor to join in. It's kind of frowned upon. And so that's where our relationship started. And we found out that he said, just go home and do it. You guys just got pregnant. Why would you think you're having a hard time getting pregnant? You were just pregnant. And so he downplayed it, and my heart needed that at the time. And we found out that he and his wife had their last baby at 42 and 52. And Jay and I will be 42 and 52. And so that was lovely and kismet to hear. That was just like a look at God moment. But so anyways, he said, put a time frame on it and come back and see me. So we put 6 months on it because we thought, he can downplay it, but he could very well downplay it into us, out of our window. So we need to kind of be on top of it on our end. So we set 6 months and didn't get it. So went and sat back down with him a couple weeks ago and went over our different options. So they took my blood and just kind of looked at my situation. And I was mowing the yard the next day. Ash was in labor having Clara. Cam was in surgery. And so y'all remember what kind of day that was. And so I was mowing the yard and the doctor called. I thought it was the nurse, but it was the doctor. And he was so excited. I just needed him to slow down. I was like, what are you saying? And he said, you have the fertility of a 20-year-old. He's like, I've never seen anything like it. I knew it would be good, but I didn't know it would be this good. And he said, you go through the plan that we put in place and you're going to have 2 babies, just joking. And and so that was really nice to hear. And it kind of gave our relationship and our journey like a deep breath, Jay was kind of trying to walk through it as pretending not to walk through it, which was stressing me out more. So I wasn't ever really able to tell him what day it was, or, you know what I mean? I was have it to fool my own husband. Even though he's the one that is adamant that we try again. And so anyways, we went and sat with them. Well, and I started out this story and I'm like, the end is not even as exciting as the middle. So I'm feeling like it's a little anticlimactic. And so anyways, we did some medicine during the beginning of this cycle to kind of enhance things. And so I went and took an ultrasound yesterday to kind of look at how things were looking, and it all just looked really positive. They were all excited and they don't need to up the dose of medicine or change plans or anything like that. It's all been really, really fun and really positive. And I don't know if I'll leave that in the episode. I don't know if that's TMI.
No, that's up to you. I think it's great.
Yeah. I think
so you're having twins is what you're telling me.
Right?
Yeah.
That's all.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine?
All you can do. Yes, I can. Yes, I can imagine.
They'll have friends. Yeah. So if y'all would pray for us on that, I think we're pretty close. So, well, Sherri, would you want to pray and close us out?
Sure. Dear God, I just want to thank you so much for this opportunity that we have to sit down and talk with each other again, Lord. I just thank you so much for Jess and her insight and her wisdom and her discernment. And I just thank you so much for Brenna and her sunshine of a life. She just radiates joy and she just radiates excitement and also just tons and tons of wisdom. Both these ladies are just so smart. And I just thank you so much. The lovely women that you created them to be. And I just want to ask you now to be with Cam as she is not feeling the greatest, Lord. It's so hard for us not to be there rubbing her feet and taking care of her. So we ask that you do that on our behalf. Lord, please take care of our Cam and also be with Ashley as she has her loving mama hands so full and so blessed and busy. And Lord, we just ask that you give her peace and give her rest. And thank you again for all of our listeners that they just accept us and they just listen and just love it. And thank you for that, Lord. And I thank you and ask all these things in your name, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Sherri.
Thanks, Sherri.
My pleasure.
I love y'all.
Love you too.
Love
Bye.
you. Bye.